Hey guys, coming in to be another movie review for guys, and this movie we're reviewing, I've wanted to see this movie for a while now, mainly because of one reason, but in general, I was very interested in it, and I did start it like a couple of weeks ago, but never finished it. There were just other movies and other things I wanted to watch, and this just stuff got in the way of me finishing this movie. But finally, I have finished watching this movie, and that movie is Victoria. Now, Victoria is a movie that I did talk about in my October movie actually, October movie preview, and I was really looking forward to. If you guys did not see that video, I thought this movie could have been very interesting, simply because it was all done in one take. That's the main reason I was really looking forward to it. I was really hoping that this movie would, be very interesting in one take, because we all remember Birdman. Birdman was a film that seamlessly felt like it was done in one take, but it wasn't. There were about, like, I think 6 or 7 takes during that movie. This movie is not like that, though. This movie actually is done in one take, and that is really what made me interested in Victoria. I also thought it was a very good movie. And overall, how was Victoria? Victoria, I thought, for the most part, was a very good movie. I don't think it's a great movie, but I do think it's a very good movie, and there's some very good things about it. Now, the plot of Victoria, I think, is pretty basic, definitely. Now, let me just tell you guys, I really went into this movie not really knowing a lot. I knew the basic plots of this movie, that it was about a girl who gets involved with a bank robbery. That's really all I knew about the movie. What it's really about is this girl, Victoria. She is a Spanish girl that's moved to Berlin 3 months earlier, and this is a girl that doesn't speak German. She does not know anybody in this new city, despite her moving there 3 months earlier. She does not speak the German language. She has no idea what anyone's saying, and she doesn't really know a lot of people. And one day when she leaves her job, she gets involved with these four men who basically eventually entice her to possibly perform a bank heist, and that's really all I'm going to say, because I don't want you guys to know anything else that happens in this movie. But that basically is the plot of Victoria, and there are a lot of things that really do work in this movie. There are a lot of things that don't work as well, but for the most part, the thing that works the best is the acting, especially our main character here, Lila Costa, as Victoria. She does an incredible job in this movie. I really care about her character. I really thought she did a great job, and she really anchors this entire movie, which is great because the movie's called Victoria. I was very worried, that they were going to cast an actress that just wasn't as great as she could have been, and she really was great. I really thought she did a great job carrying this entire movie. You really care about her. She's been through a lot in her life, and as the movie goes on, you start to find out that there's more and more things that could have happened to her. There's this one scene where she talks about something that could have happened to her, and it didn't happen, and it kind of just shows, like, life goes in very strange directions, and, this entire movie obviously is focused on her. We're with her the entire movie, and, of course, her not knowing the language is very interesting. I just found her character overall to be very interesting, and the way she gets thrown into all these situations is one of the most interesting parts of the movie. I thought, for the most part, she did a great job. I really loved her character for the most part. She was very, very good. I also really like Frederick Lau as Sonny, who is her main love interest in the movie. He did a very good job. The chemistry between these two is really great, and I thought they both had really great chemistry. His character himself, I didn't think was the most compelling, but because of their acting, I thought for the most part they did very, very good, and I definitely loved how he was really the only one that knew English. He knew both German and English, and she knows Spanish, obviously, but you can't use Spanish in a German thing, in Berlin. That's just not going to work. So she obviously needs to speak English, and I definitely love seeing that. And I thought that was very interesting. And I thought overall the chemistry between these two was very, very strong. My main problem with the movie is everyone else in this film. The characters of Boxer, Fuss, and Blinker, I did not give two shits about, I have to tell you. I did not care about their characters. I didn't find their characters interesting. I found their characters actually quite one-note and quite boring. Yes, one of them went to prison, but we get the most basic characters with them. And I understand that, yes, Victoria is just supposed to run into these four guys. It's just, we get so much development between Victoria and Sonny that I really wanted these three characters to feel just as interesting, and they're really not. I didn't care about their characters. I didn't find them terribly interesting. I really just felt like at points when we focused on these four guys, we were in a different movie. At points, this movie does feel like two different movies, and I'm not saying that the three actors are bad. They did a good job for the most part. I thought overall they were really good. You see, how much of a bond they have with Sonny and how tough they are and how they want Victoria to pull off this bank heist and things like that. It is very interesting, and seeing her thrown into this world, having to do this thing that she never expected to do and get herself involved with this and basically be forced to not say no or else they're basically going to kill her is very interesting. I just found the characters overall to not be as interesting as they could have been and would have wanted some more character development with them. That's really my biggest thing here is that with their character development, I'll get into that. And the directing here by Sebastian Schipper, I thought for the most part was very good, but like I said, at times this really did feel like two different movies. When we are with Victoria and Sonny, it's a really great romance that they have. There's some really great quiet moments in some scenes that I definitely really appreciated. There's this one scene which is not really too much of a spoiler, but we find out that, like I said, Victoria, she's playing this piano, and we find out something that has to do with the piano. And it's a really interesting scene, and I definitely really love that. And there's some really great emotional scenes in this movie, especially towards the end. But I will say the movie as a whole, the second half, really dragged on for me. When they're going to perform this bank heist, I honestly kind of lost interest. I was not as interested. I found it to be quite boring. The last 30 minutes or so, I was completely riveted in this thing. I thought it was extremely interesting. It went some completely unexpected directions, and I definitely really loved the last, 30 to 40 minutes of this film. I thought that was fantastic. There's a part in a film where Victoria and Sonny have to do their own little thing and abandon the other three guys, which I was very happy about, because like I said, I didn't really care about them. And when you had those scenes I thought were especially strong, and I definitely really loved that. The writing here is really good for the most part. It's just some of the scenes I really felt dragged on a lot. There were a lot of scenes that dragged on, mainly because of the one take. There is no editing in this movie, like I said. It's all done in one take, and that at times was a detriment to the plot, because I would have wanted to learn more about these three characters. And I felt like we could have gotten more backstory with them had this movie not been in one take. It did ruin a few things. And there were some times where I kind of felt like it was just lazy what the director was doing, that he was only doing it to get this movie out of the way and not actually care about having the perfect scene. One of the reasons there are editing in films is because, oh, maybe that scene didn't go as well as we needed to. We need to reshoot this. There are several times that happened in this movie, and I was a bit upset because I'm like, you know what, this really didn't need to be a one-take film. Maybe some scenes, yes, should have been in one take. Yes, there might have been some scenes. But many of the scenes I didn't feel needed to be in one take, and I really don't know why they were in one take. It didn't really feel like that needed to happen, and I don't really know why they did that, because at points it really did ruin the film for me. There are some great scenes, though, in the writing. There is this one scene towards the end of the movie where, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but Victoria and Sonny have to hold this couple hostage. Amazing acting. Honestly, one of the most intense scenes I might have seen all year. I absolutely loved it. There's also one scene at the very end of the film that was honestly quite heartbreaking, and I definitely loved the way they handled it. Just because of the fact that you realize this is all taking place in one night, and the idea of putting this in real time was a genius idea, because yeah, it's all done in one night. All this is happening at once, and you really do get that sense in this movie that you're going on this journey with Victoria, and all this stuff is happening, and you kind of losing focus in what's going on just because there's so much going on at once, and you don't really know what to do except stick with it. And that's something I definitely really love that the movie made you do, is that they made you stay involved because Victoria needs to stay involved, and I really like the way that happened. It's just a few scenes I really felt they did not need to do in one take. Maybe a few scenes could have been in one take, but not the entire movie. I just felt it really didn't work for the entire movie, and I don't really know why out of all movies, this movie was chosen to be done in one take. I don't really understand that. The cinematography here is absolutely fantastic. You can definitely tell this was all shot in Berlin. It was shot in real location. I definitely really appreciate that. Also, I love the idea of Victoria speaking English while everyone else is speaking German. You just get the sense of she's a complete outcast, and like us, she's just thrown into this world, not knowing what the hell is going on, and I definitely really love that. That's something I thought they handled very well. I did not know this movie was partially in English. In fact, if you guys know, this movie was supposed to be nominated for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars. Well, possibly, like, it had a chance of getting that either this year or last year, but it was disqualified because a large portion of it is in English, and I thought that was very daring for a film like this to do, and I definitely really appreciate the fact that they did do that. So many foreign films, I mean, yeah, they can be very compelling, but what I like about this one is that it just stands out from the rest because it's English and German, and I definitely really appreciated the way that they did that. The score here I thought was really good when it came up. It really came up at the best of times. That's something they did very well, is when to put the score on. They only put it on several times in the film, and it really, really worked, and I definitely really love that. Some of the nightclub scenes I did feel were a bit unnecessary. I don't know why we had to keep going to this nightclub several times, and it did stall the plot a bit. One of my biggest issues with the film is that it is a bit too long. I felt a large chunk of this film could have been cut out. The second half definitely. But like I said, it's mainly just because I didn't care about those three characters that I'm supposed to care about. I just didn't care about them, and I did not find them terribly interesting, and I really wanted more between Victoria and Sunny, which we do get, but I just wanted more of them and less of the other three guys because I just didn't really care about them. And towards the end of the film, something happens to these three characters, and again, I didn't care because I didn't find them interesting to begin with, so I'm not going to care if something bad happens to them. I'm just not going to. But the last 30 to 40 minutes, like I said, are fantastic. I thought they were amazing. Honestly, some of the most intense stuff I've seen all year, and I absolutely loved the climax of this film, and I thought it was perfectly handled the way it was done. The emotion, the acting, the way the scenes were done. This has some great action scenes, I will say that. This movie has some fantastic action sequences that I definitely really love the way that they were done. The movie's not predictable at all. You never know where it's going to go, and that's something I really appreciate, is that this is not a predictable film at all. I had no idea what was going to happen. For a while, I thought these three guys were going to, like, rape her or something. I did not think she was getting involved with a bank heist, but I thought they were going to, like, rape her, but that doesn't happen. And thank God they didn't go in that cliche direction, because that would have been so horrible to see on a one-take film, and I'm glad they didn't do that, because I was ready to see something that I would not want to see, and I'm happy that they didn't go for that, and that they did something a lot more unpredictable, and I definitely really love that. So overall, guys, Victoria is a very good film. There are a lot of things that I do feel hurt, especially the one-take aspect. I don't really know why specifically this film needs to be in one take. Again, I get the fact that we're supposed to be with Victoria on this journey the whole movie. I just felt some scenes would have been a bit more interesting if we would have developed some of the secondary characters a bit more, because that's really all they are in this movie. They're just secondary characters, and you don't really have much character from them, and I would have wanted to care about them more. The characters of Boxer, Fuss, and Blinker, like I said, just really don't stick out. They just feel like, you know, men of Sunnies, and if something bad's happening to them, I want to care about them, and I really didn't. So overall, guys, I would definitely recommend this movie. I don't know if I'd ever watch the whole thing again. There are definitely scenes I'd watch again, especially last 30 to 40 minutes. Definitely I would rewatch that again, because that was incredible to watch. But overall, guys, I'm definitely giving Victoria a 4 out of 5 or a B+. Overall, I really do recommend this movie. I just don't go into it thinking it's going to be a masterpiece. Don't go into it thinking this is going to be a film that is absolutely perfect. Just don't go into it that way, and I think you'll overall really enjoy it. Go into it like me, where you're not expecting much, and you get more than what you were expecting. So overall, guys, my review of Victoria. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie. You have seen it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I don't think too many people have seen this movie, which is sad, because I do think it's a movie that should be getting more attention, and the next movie I'm reviewing as well, I don't think a lot of people have seen. More people are going to hear about it, because I believe it's going to be in a lot of people's top 10 lists, including probably mine. I'm assuming the next movie I'm going to watch is, I heard it's amazing, so I'm definitely looking forward to the next movie I'm watching. But let me know what you guys saw this movie, have seen it. We'll see you guys at my next show, which will be for another movie review, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.